wind is strong, so I'm gonna have to speak up. Hopefully this will be heard. I'll try and do my best to make it short. I struggle to find the right words, and so it takes me a long time to convey a thought, especially when I write. Oh, the wind's calm. So the idea is rebellion. What is a rebellious spirit? What is, if you are a Catholic, a rebellious spirit towards the church? Now some may say, as long as you haven't been excommunicated, haven't been reprimanded by the church, and don't explicitly reject the dogmas that the church explicitly teaches you are dogmas that you must believe, then you're not rebellious. But I say that's pretty mediocre if that's the standard, if that's the measure, if that's how you check yourself, whether or not you're being rebellious. And you probably were a rotten child. Now that might not be your fault if you were a spoiled brat. There might be an explanation for it, but somehow you formed for yourself a very low standard for loyalty, for fidelity, for love of Holy Mother Church. I would say that if you go beyond saying, I just prefer not to pray the luminous mysteries, if you go beyond into those waters of saying, oh, it's unacceptable, the luminous mysteries of the Holy Rosary, then you've sort of revealed your rebellious spirit. If you repeat the same unfounded talking points of enemies of the church, then that is a rebellious spirit. If you think that the church has been corrupted with an antichrist mind ever since Constantine, and it won't evolve into the church that Christ intends it to be until the church starts agreeing with you and your interpretation of sacred scripture, your dogma, then that is the sign of a rebellious spirit. If you want to keep telling me your standard and say, well, I haven't officially become a heretic, I haven't officially become an apostate of the church, I still claim to be loyal to the church. That bar is so low, there's a lot of people that can meet that measure. But you should want more for yourself, and you should want more for your church. So, if the ordinary Roman rite of the Mass to you is a near occasion of sin or is unacceptable, then you have a rebellious spirit. You think otherwise? Well, we disagree. We can talk about it more if you'd like, but I don't raise my children, at least in the world that I have more influence over, in the domestic church that I live in. I don't set the bar that low for them. I encourage them to be loyal sons and daughters of the church, to become saints who totally surrender to divine providence, to redemptive suffering, who seek the truth and don't place their agenda above all other agendas for the church to conform to. The constant prayer is to correspond to God's grace and conform to God's will. Conformity to the church in her teachings, conformity to the parameters that she sets is the standard, not rebellion. And what the church declares explicitly to be a dogmatic teaching is irrelevant to the standard that I set for myself and for my family. Irrelevant. If you think that those things I listed, and there's more, are not rebellious, then I don't know what the measure for rebellion would be for you. I guess it would have to be starting your own separate church, maybe. Maybe then you could acknowledge it. But they didn't become rebellious when that separate church was begun. They were rebellious leading up to their schism, to their apostasy. The rebellious spirit was whispering into their ear probably for years and years and years. And sometimes it does more damage to God's kingdom, to keep that rebel within the fold. But God's providence is good. And even though it causes more damage, God will take that damage and convert it to greater good. So I trust in God. I trust in the church that God has given me. But I won't call wrong right, lies truth. I won't call hatred love. And if you sound and act like you hate Holy Mother Church before Constantine and after Constantine, then you are rebellious. You are not loving for the church. You are hateful. And I don't say that as an insult, just a statement of fact. I will be pleasantly surprised, joyfully surprised, I should say, gratefully surprised, if you can convince me otherwise, if you can help me have a paradigm shift on that. Because it is sad that there are so many rebels within Holy Mother Church. Sad. May Christ help us to correspond to His grace and love, the Mother He gave us to behold. Abide the fire.